I'm here weekend to review a buddy's board who's nice enough to let me borrow. I'm not very good at lending people my boards, but thank God he's good about lending me his. Anyways, it is Hydra. And normally his boards are way too small for me, but given that I've lost weight over the years, I think he and I are both at the same leader range. But one thing I wanted to point out is, look at his beadwork on his wax. Pretty nuts. But anyways, 5'1" Hydra. It's got the almost El Tomo-ish looking tail. And he rides it as a 2+1. I might switch it out as a quad though. There it is. This particular board is 5'2" by 20 by 2.3 inch, 27.2 liters. Perfect. They call it the Hydra, and it kind of reminds me of back when I was a kid. I used to ride Stewart Hydra hulls, and this is what it looked like. There was like this flat section, almost like a tri-plane hull, concave, with this flat section here. Although the Hydra hull back in the days was just like this weird channel that ran down the middle. But yeah, I'm guessing this is based on that. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to look it up. So now when it comes to grovelers, they are not all made equal. So now I'm probably oversimplifying, but more or less, something like the sweet potato and the beanbag from Lost fit into the Uber groveler category, while the Hydra and the Seaside might fall into the super groveler category. But at the end of the day, the whole point of a groveler is one that allows you to catch waves easier and perform to your normal abilities with subpar conditions. So now what I wanted to focus on for day one was how well this board does to catch waves, and then two, how it is so easy to drive for speed. And then that speed then translates to being able to do maneuvers, giving you kind of the entire package for groveling, right? I feel like this is a super easy, fun board to ride, and I don't feel like I'm losing too much performance. Taking a look at this particular maneuver, I thought I slammed that section pretty good. And then watching this wave, starts off at like 2 feet, but then it goes down to like a foot. I get a maneuver and I get a full wrap on a 1 foot wave, maintaining speed to get another maneuver. So really doing well to grovel. Now this last wave, I wanted to show how well it drives for speed. Look how big this wave is. It's like 6 inches tall. Anyways, very impressed with this board. So now going into day two, I'm riding it as a quad. Day one, I rode as a 2+1 in that fin setup that I showed with the white fins and the pink trailer. So now day two, I'm riding it as a quad with the stretch quads. I don't know if you're familiar with those. But initially, I think I liked the quads better. I just felt like it had a little bit extra drive, and then there wasn't any slip. So the one thing I did notice about my friend's fins, his little pink trailer, was that it was extra small. That thing was smaller than my stabilizers that I'm used to riding. So this is day three, and I'm still riding it as a quad because I didn't feel like I got a full day's or enough waves on day two. But yeah, I still, at this point, I still was liking the quads over the 2+1 that my friend had already in the board. Overall, it is a very responsive, super predictable. It doesn't do anything strange, so it's a very user-friendly board, much like the Seaside and much like my old baked potato. Very similar turning characteristics in terms of turning radius, because they're both short, compact boards. But this one actually turns a little bit better than the old baked potato, because I think the tail, the swallowtail, is a little bit friendlier and I found that I could surf this thing backside a lot better. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that I found myself, because I'm so heavy front-footed, pretty much burying the nose if I wasn't concentrating or focusing on my back leg. So I did that a few times on a backside bottom turn, coming out of an off the lip or a top turn, and as if there was too much transition, I would poke the nose. And I had the same problem with my baked potato, and I think it has to do with kind of the wider nose again, but it has to mostly do with the fact that I'm very, very heavy front-footed. So now on day 4, I'm running the black stabilizer, whereas day 1 I ran that little pink stabilizer. And day 4 was a much better day. So it was kind of all came together with the fin plus the conditions. Had a really good time. So, you know, the takeaway from this is the board is an amazing groveler, and given the fact that, you know, one of my favorite boards of all time was the Firewire Baked Potato 5.1. It was 29 liters. They discontinued that board, no longer make it. The Sweet Potato is a great Uber groveler, but I almost feel like it's too big. And unfortunately, they don't make any versions of that board smaller. And I believe that this Hydra might fill that gap. So, you know, if I was actually in the market for a board like that right now, I think I would choose this particular super groveler. It's really fun, really fast, pretty versatile. But the one thing is, you know, and I don't know if, you know, if you've been following this channel, you'll notice that I kind of started with the shorter boards, and I've kind of slowly transitioned to longer boards, and I'm kind of headed back towards a performance board eventually. So for that reason, I probably am not going to buy this board, but I am super grateful that I got the opportunity to surf it. And I highly recommend it for those of you that's interested in a super groveler. That was my last wave, and I don't know if you noticed, but my leash broke. So when the camera pans out, you'll see the surfboard way out there. So I should say my friend's leash broke, so now I have to replace it. Not exactly sure what happened, but yep, that was kind of the conclusion to a fantastic day. Look at that wave in the background. Holy cow. What an amazing day. So I feel very blessed that on top of my buddy letting me borrow his board to review, I feel blessed that we had pretty decent conditions for the review, perfect for that board. I think if it was real punchy, it wouldn't work that well. The board is very flat, doesn't have a lot of rocker, so you saw me kind of dig rail a couple times, and I went over that. Anyways, all in all, I recommend the board if you're in the market for a shorter or super groveler. Again, I don't think I'd put it in the category of an Uber groveler. That would be a Sweet Potato or the Lost Beanbag, which is, you know, 4 extra liters for the same size, right? So ultimately though, the more grovel you get, the less performance you're going to have. So you're always trying to find that balance. What is your skill level? What type of performance do you want? And which groveler is going to give you that, you know? But anyways, this board is amazing. I recommend it. There's nothing I could say bad about it other than my own issue of being very heavy front-footed. All right, hope you guys liked the review. Please like, subscribe, and again, I should have put this at the beginning of the video. I keep forgetting. Just let the video play out. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later.